Hey guys, welcome back to this episode of The Backstory. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the topic of young marriage. At just 21 years old, my friend Ahmed, who I've known for many years, got married. And today, we'll be talking about topics such as uncovering his journey of maturing through marriage, shifting priorities, and navigating through cultural experiences, and ultimately how all of this has positively impacted his worldview. We'll start off by talking about what's actually behind us, which is our school, where we grew up and spent so many of our years here. And the person you were back then versus now, probably the biggest difference I've seen in anyone, okay? And honestly, in school, if we were in school right now and I told you to, I don't know, jump into this pond or like jump off this building, basically stuff that could kill you, you would do it. And now you wouldn't. So talk to me about how it was in school versus uni versus now.
I was really lucky to have the best school experience ever. I had the best group of friends. We had so much fun.
We had amazing time.
It was literally we could sit and just speak about what we did the whole day, and we wouldn't get bored. But I think it was so much good that happened. But there was also, we sacrificed a lot by doing that, because we were doing a lot of things we probably shouldn't have done. Like, okay, joking around, doing these things, but we
took it to the next level.
We took it to the next level. We crossed the line on multiple occasions. We weren't good people.
We weren't good people. That's you.
We weren't good people.
The maturity just was not there.
Yeah.
And the problem was that it was all of us that were like that. So it's like there was no one there to tell us, any differently.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But I think at uni you start realizing that, okay, I can't continue doing this. At uni, there's no such thing as just being like doing stupid things and being mean to people. You have to
care about people.
You have to care about people. You have to build meaningful friendships
and you learned that through uni then?
And I learned that through uni. I mean, I had to, and I really did. I'm glad I did, because through that journey as well, I became a better person. And I wouldn't say I'm perfect. I'm nowhere near perfect.
But you're more mature.
Well, I'm happy with the progress I'm doing.
So COVID was a really difficult period for all of us, of course. And I wanted to ask you what made it different for you in that period, of 2020, that summer where we were going to the gym, we were playing FIFA at night. We had a very similar routine in that way. But there's also something big that made it different for you. So tell us a bit about that.
My COVID period was special because for me, it wasn't like a struggle. I became a better person when I came out of it. Like I said, in first year, I left my house and I moved out, and I was doing a lot of things and just doing literally everything that I wanted to do, I did in that first year. And then I had that feeling of emptiness. And I remember in COVID, when I was isolated and I was self-reflecting, I got a lot closer to religion.
Right.
Yeah, and I was a lot more disciplined. I mean, I would go from maybe waking up at 1 p.m. to forcing myself to wake up at 5 a.m. every day for Fajr. Getting so much more disciplined. I would read my Quran. I got back to understanding why am I really a Muslim, not just speaking about it, but actually doing the actions.
Yeah.
And that translated into my marriage, or getting to know Hafsa.
Yeah.
When I got to know Hafsa, it wasn't based on, okay, I'm bored, let me find someone to speak to. It was more of, like, I really like the person that I'm speaking to. I like the values that I'm speaking. I want her as a friend, and I want her maybe as a partner.
Right.
So that's why when I started speaking to her, it didn't take much time for me to actually end up like proposing, asking for her dad's number, things like this, because it had come from that discipline that I established during the COVID period.
Yeah.
And even a bit before that, with regards to, okay, I'm on this earth for a specific reason. I'm on this earth to worship my God, to understand why I'm here. I have end goals after my life, and I have reasons what I want to do here. It's not just about work and things like this and just following my desires, basically.
Right.
So that translated into Hafsa.
Into talking to her.
I met with her. I talked with her, obviously on chat.
Yeah.
We were FaceTiming. It was the COVID relationship.
Yeah.
And I mean, I immediately knew it was a logical decision.
And then how was it different when you went back to the UK, in September, I think it was, 2020, from speaking to someone over text, and then, it's different. As much as you want to replicate it, it's not the same. And you had no hesitation, right? It felt even better, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't scared. I mean, I think a lot of people go back and they're scared. What if they're not the same, things like this?
Yeah.
What I was more focused on is making sure she was the same person on chat. Everything she was saying in the chat, all her values, all her beliefs, all her persona, her vibe, how we got on. I wanted that to translate into real life.
You wanted to see if she walked the walk, not just talk the talk.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
That's exactly what I wanted.
And then, so you go back and you speak to her parents, right? Is that what happens pretty soon after you went back to the UK?
Yeah, so she tells her parents.
Okay.
Her parents are very understanding. They're obviously religious.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So.
And your parents at this point, do they know or not?
My mom knows.
Your mom knows.
Not my dad, because I knew my dad would be a sticky one. but my mom knows. She's like, that's crazy. Because in Egypt, it's not the culture to get married young.
Okay.
Even though we're Muslim. So,
even though, yeah.
Yeah, you wait until you establish a house, things like this, then you get married. So, but her parents were very understanding. So I went and I met with her parents.
And how was that? Were you nervous before meeting for the first time?
Of course, man. This is someone who 2 years ago was an absolute clown. A joke, man.
Yeah, and now you're meeting your potential wife's dad or mom.
But I think at this point I had improved so much. I didn't know anything. I mean, I was clueless in terms of my religion and things, but I had good intentions. I think that's what matters. Is I knew I wanted to be a better person, and they noticed that. Her parents acknowledged that immediately. I remember I sat down with them and they were asking me, why do you want to get married with her? And they started crying.
No way, actually.
Yeah, they started crying because they
what was your answer?
Long answer, bro.
Okay.
But I think what they sensed was the genuine nature of the marriage. It wasn't me trying to play around with her. It was me wanting to protect this person and spend my life with her. I saw her as a mother to my kids, and I saw her as a wife. So I want to build something with her. It wasn't just a short thing, and that's why I immediately went for her. So
then you've spoken to her parents now. How do you get your dad on board now? Because that's the missing piece of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
So
I was so dedicated to getting my dad on board. My dad.
And why was he not in favor?
At the start, he wanted me to graduate to have a job.
A fair point. A completely fair point.
An absolute fair point.
Yeah.
He said once you get a job. I mean, at the end, we ended up getting married. We ended up deciding the marriage and deciding the date before I even got a job.
Yeah.
But we still waited until the last year of uni. So he had a good influence. He had a good influence on my decision. It made it a bit difficult to stay not married to her for that period, but we got through it, alhamdulillah, only by the grace of God.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I was persevering. Me and my dad are not that close, but I had to really open up to him in that period.
And was that tough to do? Because
bro. Oh, it was so embarrassing. Yeah. But my sense of getting it done, of getting married to her, was so overpowering that I was like, I don't care. I'm doing this. I'm talking to my dad. I'm getting it done.
That you were even able to put aside the lack of closeness.
Yeah,
and
it was
put
awkward.
The main topic straight.
It was awkward, but I was like, I need to talk to him about this. So.
And he must have also felt good, that you're coming, even if it's a difficult topic, his son is coming to him and taking him in confidence to speak about such a challenging topic.
Yeah.
And you're only 21. I don't even know, were you 20 at this point or 21?
I think I was 20.
Exactly.
But he was stressed. I'm not gonna lie. He was.
Is there any funny moment or awkward moment? How was it with your dad at this point?
Yeah, I remember we were in Italy.
Okay.
In the beach, and it was just so relaxing.
Next to George Clooney's house, yeah.
Yeah. It was so relaxing, but at the same time, when that topic got brought up, it was so different. But
okay, it was different.
It was different. He was just so stressed. He was anxious because this is his son. I mean, this is a big milestone for his son, and he didn't want to disappoint me, but he also wanted to be real with me, and I'm glad he did that.
Yeah. So your dad said yes now, okay?
Yeah, he said
Everything
yes.
is good,
Yep.
but now it's the planning of the wedding. And you're still studying at uni, so
Yeah.
how was that process? What were the tough parts? Or tell us
There
about
were
that.
a lot of things happening. It was Ramadan. It was studying season, so exam season.
Exam season.
And we also had the wedding, obviously, to plan. And we also had the engagement. I had to buy a ring, things like this. So it was so many things going on at once. And suddenly I was kind of in the middle of it all. But Hafsa wanted some kind of dream wedding. We had 3 months to plan it.
Yeah.
She was scared. She was like, it won't turn out well, things like this. I remember one story was she wanted a dress, like an incredible, like, Pakistani dress.
Yeah.
But that gets made in Pakistan. It takes like at least 5 months to make.
Yeah.
So Hafsa was really stressed about this, but then she goes to Birmingham and she goes to this shop and she's like stressed. She hasn't found her dress. Then on the way out, she spots a dress.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is this one? And she's like, oh, this is a new thing that we got going on. Then she goes, she gets like a green and red combo of it, and Hafsa absolutely
Loves it. Yeah.
And the wedding ring, she was also stressed, what is this gonna happen? Absolutely loves it in the end. It was her dream wedding ring.
I mean,
so,
Birmingham is Pakistan anyway, so like it's
Exactly.
pretty much a good replicate. Okay,
Yeah,
but
so-
that's the planning aspect of it. But let's talk about the actual marriage, because if I just say a few things about that, for me it was so cool to see a Pakistani wedding, but with the people so young. Everyone there was so young. I had seen everything that happened before, you know, the actual marriage, the food, etc. Everything was the same, but everyone was so much younger, and that was pretty cool to see. And I think it made it a very wholesome night.
I had an idea of wedding to be like a stressful event, things like this.
It usually is.
I remember I was stressed before. I was waiting for everyone to come. Then 2 of my friends come, and they come, and I start speaking to them like it's a completely normal day. I remember Alessandro comes and starts roasting me. So I'm like, wait, in my own wedding, he's roasting me.
No, I remember when we were doing the fireworks, we came up to you, we were like, bro, you're not getting married. Relax. Like, don't
Humble yourself.
Don't think that you're cool.
Yeah, but it made me feel so much more comfortable. And the whole wedding was such good vibes. It was also according to like my Islamic principles, but it was also really, really fun. It was just great.
I thought it was wholesome.
Yeah.
Like, to see your uni friends and also our old school friends and Hafsa's friends and everyone just having a nice time. I think even me giving that speech and like Hafsa's friend giving that speech, I think it was great, and it was just a beautiful night.
Please don't ever leave me.
So you're not Pakistani, right? You're Egyptian, and I think when you told us that you're getting married to a Pakistani, when you told me, I was so happy because I was like, this is crazy that you're getting married to someone from my culture. How was it to adjust to that culture? Learning all the traditions for the marriage itself, you know, doing certain practices that you probably never knew of before. Was it a lot of Googling, or like, how did you find out?
Pakistani culture is incredible. You guys have so many details of every little step. The food is incredible. Colors are incredible. Like, you have so many little traditions. For me, in Egypt, we don't have that in our wedding. So I was so excited. I just learned so much from her parents, from Hafsa herself. Like, taking off my shoes at the wedding and stealing it. Why are you stealing my shoes?
And the funniest thing was that your mom had a spare shoe. Like, she tried to like play the culture as well, which is really funny.
And also things like, for example, paying to get into my own wedding that I planned. That was just strange. But
oh, because I remember the wallet, and you pulled out like euros and different currencies,
and they still weren't accepting. I gave my whole wallet, and then they were still like, "No, what? I had to take off my suit."
Too funny, too.
But yeah, it was really, really fun. I love the culture, so it wasn't hard at all to merge into it. I was happy.
You
to
embraced
do
the
it.
culture.
I love the culture, and
now
I still do.
And now you're officially Pakistani. Okay,
No,
nice.
No.
So you've just gotten married, right? And the next morning you're off for your honeymoon. You spend 3 or 4 days. Then you move with your wife to Switzerland from the UK. It's her first time here. And then you move into a new apartment that we're sitting in right now. And then the next day you have your start of your job. So all of these 4 or 5 things in 1 week. Walk me through that week.
Crazy. It was crazy looking back at it. Now that I think, I mean, we were so tired that night. And then we wake up the next day, we have to go straight to the honeymoon. We come back and I immediately start my job the next day.
Yeah.
And Hafsa is the first time she's ever been outside of the UK and Pakistan. So she's never actually ever lived in any other country.
Yeah.
And this is all happening immediately, right? So I think God blessed us at the time so much, and so many things could have gone wrong, but Allah made it so easy for us. And alhamdulillah, maybe that's because we got married early, and it was just so much blessing.
Everything worked out.
Yeah, even the job that I got, I mean, that wasn't even planned. I got that, and most of the people who got accepted had a master's, but I only had a bachelor's. So I feel like so many things got worked out well.
Worked out for the better.
Yeah. It's really good.
And then moving into, you know, a new place that we're sitting in right now, a new apartment. How was that transition, you know, from even managing your day-to-day routines, your priorities, everything would have shifted from uni and even your previous school life.
Yeah, uni, the schedule was horrible.
Yeah, as it is for all of us.
So waking up late, doing nothing, basically the whole day, and just not really having a routine. I had to have a routine now. So I had to have a specific plan for my day. My days kind of look very similar now. So I have a period before work, and then I have after work. I'm spending a lot of time with my wife, and we really spend time, focus on quality time. And with the finances, it also translates in the same way. So I focus on quality time with my wife, for example, on the weekends and on dates, and then we cut on things that we don't care about.
Like us, for example, exactly. Yeah. So
it's not like
no, I'm joking. Because I was going to say that I think you've managed it pretty well in terms of balancing time with her and us, because we know her as well, so I guess it helps that we can chill as a group.
Yes.
But was it difficult at points, I don't know, where you were like having to pick between, or there's something that we want to invite you to, or you're about to go to but you don't because of it, like anything?
I feel like my mindset was just so strong. Like I knew what I had to do to be as a husband. So for example, you guys invited me to go out. For me, it wasn't hard to say no. I didn't have like, oh, now I'm married. For me, I was like, okay, I'm married. I'm going to put that first. I have my family that are back home that I don't see them as often now. So I'm going to see them first. If I have time, I'm going to hang out with you guys. But for me, it wasn't like, oh, it was a struggle. I knew what I needed to do, and I just did it.
Yeah.
I know it sounds harsh.
No, of course not, of course not. Tell me like your daily routine. Like walk me through like one day, for example, a typical day, and how you manage all of these different things.
I think one of the reasons why I've focused, like I've been able to focus well during my marriage is have a good routine in relation to religion. So I would wake up really early, like a bit before my morning prayer, and I will pray for a long time, and then I would pray Fajr. I would sleep again, wake up again, read Quran. So it wasn't just waking up for work. It was kind of consolidating my beliefs. And that translates into my marriage. Like the way I treat my wife, that comes from my religion. So I really have a strong base like that. And then I go to work, I try and focus and do the best work that I can. I come home and I'm really focused on quality time. I cook with my wife, I help her clean, I spend time with her, I watch her favorite shows, things like this. And then I also have a period, like an unwinding period, where I brush my teeth, we clean up the house before we sleep. So it's very organized, so that I know I'm young, I'm stupid. So I need to kind of remember this, to remember who I am, my religion, how the Prophet used to treat his wife, for example, and then implement that in my relationship.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about you being young, and with your young minds comes inexperience, so much. You're kind of learning as you go along, and you're learning day by day. So has it been tough at points, or is it just been you have tunnel vision that you know this is what you want to do, so it's not tough for me to manage different things?
For me, because I'm young, I'm still immature. Let's be honest. Like I was a school, I was dumb.
Yeah, I know. We know.
But the idea is that I'm not treating her, I'm not being a husband through my own experience.
Okay.
I'm being a husband by following the framework. So I know I'm not perfect, but I know that I have a religion that is perfect.
Yeah.
And that is certain. And it goes in very good detail about how you should be as a husband. So I follow that, I have a role model. Okay, and when I'm following that as an inexperienced person, it's so helpful. Like if I'm angry, for example, I know why I need to control myself. like for my wife, but also for my religion, for my God, you know. So it helps, it grounds me, and I'm learning so much. I'm doing mistakes all the time, but I always have that framework to go back to. I'm always like connected with my religion, like I told you, my routine. So I'm closely connected with that, you know. I think that's super important. Whatever you bring in your, whatever you listen to, whatever you're exposing yourself to every day, is going to translate to how you treat your wife. You know, a lot of people, I see a movement, for example, you know, like the Andrew Tate movement.
Yeah.
There's people who take this and they take that guy as a role model with the things he said, for example, before he converted, like you're allowed to cheat, but a woman's not allowed to cheat, something like that. A simple example. All people are like listening and they're like agreeing. They're gonna implement that in the relationship. The way they're thinking, that's how they're gonna implement it. I'm trying to clean myself from like what I'm putting inside my brain so that I can treat my wife in the best way possible. I mean, that's really it.
Please don't ever leave me.
So you talked about your own experience, but now give me some advice for someone who is not religious and is maybe moving in with their significant other or partner and living together with this person. What advice would you have for them to cope with that at such a young age, especially?
I think, like, maybe the advice I'll give here, it'll make broad sense, but you really have to work on it every day. So I think communication is the most important thing. You need to learn how to deal with each other. So the way I do it is we have expectations of each other, and these are big, big expectations. Okay, we really focus on that. We're not easygoing with this, but we're obviously kind about it, but we're not easygoing.
But you tell each other of what they are, right?
Of what they are, and then everything else, we're very easygoing with it. Let's say, for example, I have a habit with her. She doesn't close the cabinet after she takes something out. Okay? If she keeps doing it, like, I'll be still kind. I'll still close it after her. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But you have expectations that you really, really care about, and everything else you take it easy. And you're not like, it's not you against her. I know this is so repetitive, but you really, really need to believe that it's not you against her when you're arguing. It's literally both of you against the problem. Because at the end of the day, this is the person you love. But sometimes it seems like it's the person you're closest with that you actually end up treating in the worst way. Like, I remember the Prophet ﷺ says, the best of you is the best to his family. Because it's so hard to be kind to your family. It's someone you're with every day. That's why you have to work on it every single day. And then also another advice is have time for yourself. I mean, a portion of my day is with Hafsa, but the majority of my portion, I'm either at work, or I'm working on my religious beliefs, or I'm at the gym. So I've always played football. I've always played gym. I go with my friends out sometimes to play football on the weekends, things like this. So have time for yourself too. You don't want to be around your partner all the time. So yeah, those would be my two advice.
So thanks a lot, Ahmed, for coming on to this episode. Appreciate it, and also excited to see this quite interesting journey of someone married so young. But of course, we'll be in touch.
No, it's been a pleasure, and as long as I'm with you, I'm sure it'll be enjoyable.
Okay, bye. That's good, because it's organic.